slept since 62. But the truth is even stranger. Imagine closing your eyes tonight, and then never truly sleeping again. Not for one night, not for 1 week, not for 1 year, but for more than 6 decades. While the entire world sleeps, your eyes remain open. While families turn off their lights, you are still awake. While entire generations are born, grow old, and disappear, you never experience a normal night of sleep. This sounds impossible. But in a quiet corner of Vietnam, there is an elderly man named Thai Ngoc who has spent decades making one extraordinary claim. He says he has not slept properly since 1962. That means more than 60 years of nights without normal sleep. Doctors have reportedly examined him, journalists have searched for him, and people have traveled across Vietnam simply to see whether the story could possibly be true. But there is one problem. The man who became famous for never sleeping eventually disappeared from the public eye. For years, nobody seemed to know exactly where he was. So the mystery became even more fascinating. Was Thai Ngoc truly awake every night? Was he secretly sleeping without realizing it? Was his body somehow functioning differently from everyone else? Or was there something hidden behind the story that nobody had discovered? To understand the mystery, we have to go back to the beginning. Thai Ngoc was born in Vietnam and lived an ordinary life for many years. He worked, he farmed, he lived through one of the most difficult periods in Vietnamese history. And, just like everyone else, he slept. There was nothing unusual about him. Nothing that suggested he would one day become known around the world as the man who never sleeps. But sometime in the early 1960s, everything changed. According to his story, he was living through the chaos of war when something happened to his sleep. At first, it may have seemed like a normal sleepless night. Perhaps he expected to sleep the following evening. But the next night came, and sleep still did not arrive. Then another night passed, and another days turned into weeks. Weeks became months, and eventually, the strange condition became part of his life. He could lie down, he could close his eyes. But according to Thai Ngoc, his mind never truly switched off. The world around him would become silent. The villages would go dark. Families would fall asleep. But he would remain awake. And this is where his story becomes almost impossible to understand, because the human body is not designed to go without sleep for decades. Sleep is not simply a luxury. It is a basic biological need. The brain uses sleep to recover. The body uses it to repair itself. Without enough sleep, most people quickly experience exhaustion, confusion, mood changes, and serious problems with concentration. But Thai Ngoc claims that he continued working, he farmed, he produced rice wine, he cared for animals, he worked late into the night. And somehow, he continued living his daily life. This was the mystery that fascinated people. How could a man claim to be awake for more than 60 years? Eventually, stories about him began spreading. Journalists wrote about the Vietnamese farmer who supposedly never slept. People came to meet him. They asked him the same question again and again. When was the last time you slept? His answer remained almost unbelievable. He said he could not remember. For Thai Ngoc, being awake at midnight was normal. Being awake at 2 in the morning was normal. Being awake when the sun came up was normal. His entire life had become one endless night. But then, for years, the world heard very little about him. And that silence created a new mystery. Where was he? Was he still alive? Was he still awake? Had the extraordinary story finally come to an end? That is when the search began. The journey led through Vietnam, across roads, villages, fields, and remote countryside. The goal was simple. Find the man who supposedly had not slept since 1962. But finding him was not easy. The people searching for him had old information, old newspaper reports, and only a general idea of where he might be living. There was no exact address, no simple map location. Only a name, Thai Ngoc. And a story that sounded almost too unbelievable to be true. Local people were asked if they knew him. Some recognized the name immediately. Others knew the story. But nobody seemed to have a clear answer about exactly where he lived. Then, slowly, the clues began to come together. Someone mentioned a house. Another person pointed toward a village. Eventually, a blue house appeared in the distance, and there he was, the man at the center of the mystery, Thai Ngoc. He was now an elderly man, but according to the people around him, his unusual relationship with sleep had continued for decades. The most surprising part was how ordinary he appeared. There was no laboratory, no futuristic machine, no secret medical facility. Just a quiet man living in the countryside. He welcomed visitors into his world. And that world was completely different from the one most of us know. At night, when other people were sleeping, Thai Ngoc continued working. He was involved in farming. He made rice wine. He looked after animals. And he moved through the darkness as if it were simply another part of the day. But the biggest question remained unanswered. Was he truly awake every second? Or was his body entering a state of rest that he himself did not recognize as sleep? This question is extremely important, because sometimes people can experience unusual forms of rest. A person may lie down with their eyes closed. They may enter a light state of sleep. They may experience brief periods of unconsciousness without realizing it. And yet, from their own perspective, they may feel as if they were awake the entire time. Could something like this explain Tai Ngok's story? Nobody can say for certain. But his life offers one fascinating clue. He reportedly says that he wants to sleep. Think about that. After spending decades being famous for not sleeping, he does not describe it as a superpower. He does not say he enjoys being awake forever. He reportedly wishes he could experience normal sleep. He wants what most people take for granted, to lie down at night, close his eyes, and wake up feeling rested. But according to his story, that simple experience has been missing from his life for generations. And his family has witnessed a strange routine for years. While others slept, Tai Nok remained awake. His family members became so accustomed to it the impossible gradually became normal. At first, they were worried. But after years passed, the condition became part of everyday life. For Tai Nok, the night was not a time to rest. It was simply another opportunity to work. One of the things he reportedly did during the night was produce rice wine. The process was traditional and labor-intensive. Rice was prepared, the mixture was heated, and the finished liquid was collected. Night after night, the work continued. The strange part was that he seemed to have endless hours available. While everyone else was losing 1/3 of their day to sleep, Tai Nok appeared to have an entire extra part of life. But there was also another side to the story. His life had been shaped by war. Vietnam's conflict in the 1960s and 1970s was devastating. Millions of people were affected. Families were separated, villages were destroyed, and countless people lived through experiences that left deep emotional scars. Tai Nok was an adult during this period. He experienced the war firsthand. And according to his account, his sleeplessness began around this era. That naturally raises a question. Could extreme stress or trauma have played a role? Could his brain have become permanently locked into a state of constant alertness? Could years of fear and danger have changed his ability to relax? Nobody can confidently prove that this is the explanation. But it is one possibility that makes his story even more complicated. Because perhaps the mystery is not simply about a man who refuses to sleep. Perhaps it is about a brain that may have forgotten how to completely switch off. And there is another strange detail. Tai Nok reportedly says that when he drinks a large amount of rice wine, he may sometimes sleep for a short period, not a full night's rest, not 8 hours, sometimes only an hour or two. Then, according to the story, he returns to his normal routine, awake again, working again, living through another night. This creates an even bigger question. If he can sleep occasionally, even briefly, can we truly say he has not slept since 1962? Or does the mystery lie somewhere else? Perhaps he is not completely sleepless. Perhaps he experiences extremely short periods of sleep. Perhaps he rests in ways that are so unusual that even he does not consider them normal sleep. And that may be the most realistic explanation. But it does not make the story any less extraordinary. Imagine trying to stay awake for just 2 days. Most people would struggle. Now imagine a week, a month, a year, then imagine an entire lifetime. The psychological effect would be impossible to imagine. While other people were dreaming, Tai Nok was awake. While children grew up, he was awake. While the world changed around him, he remained awake through the night. And yet, he continued to live. He continued to work. He continued to smile. Perhaps that is what makes his story so fascinating. Not the idea that he is some kind of supernatural person, but the fact that, despite the mystery, he appears to be an ordinary human being, an ordinary man, with an extraordinary life. The people who met him noticed something else. He was not living in a laboratory. He was not surrounded by doctors. He was not performing a scientific experiment. He was simply living in the Vietnamese countryside, working, making wine, farming, talking with his family, and continuing a routine that had reportedly lasted for decades. But there was one test that could never be ignored. What happens when everyone else goes to sleep? To find out, an observer decided to stay awake with him. The night began normally. The sky was dark, the countryside was quiet. Most people had gone to bed. But Tai Nok was still awake. Hours passed, midnight arrived, then 1 in the morning, then 2. The visitor began to feel exhausted. Tai Nok did not appear to be experiencing the same level of tiredness. At one point, the visitor tried to rest, but Tai Nok continued his routine. He worked, he sat, he moved around. He continued through the night. Then the clock moved past 3 in the morning. The visitor was exhausted. But Tai Nok was still there, still awake, still functioning, still living through another night. Eventually, the sky began to brighten, morning arrived. And the strange experiment was over. One person had survived a single sleepless night. The other had apparently done what he claimed to have done for decades. And that is when the difference became impossible to ignore. After just one night, the visitor was exhausted. Tai Nok simply continued his day. He went back to his work, he continued his routine. For him, the night had not been an extraordinary challenge. It was simply normal life. But the mystery still remains. Is Tai Nok truly capable of living without sleep? Or is he sleeping in ways that are invisible to him and to the people around him? Science tells us that the human body needs sleep. So the claim of 6 decades without normal sleep is almost impossible to accept literally. But at the same time, His personal experience cannot simply be ignored. For years, he has insisted that he does not sleep normally. His family has described the same unusual routine, and people who have spent nights around him have reported seeing him awake. So perhaps the truth is somewhere between the two possibilities. Maybe Tai Nok is not literally awake every single second of every single day. But perhaps his sleep is so short, so unusual, or so fragmented that he genuinely feels as though he has never slept. And that may be the real mystery. Because sometimes the human brain does things we do not fully understand. There are people who can function on extraordinarily little sleep. There are people who experience unusual sleep disorders. And there are people whose brains may enter brief periods of rest without them realizing it. But even if that explains part of the story, it does not explain everything. How did he continue working? How did he maintain his lifestyle? How did he survive for decades with such a strange relationship with sleep? And why did the problem begin in the first place? These questions remain unanswered. One possibility is that the trauma of war played a role. Another is that his brain developed an extremely unusual sleep pattern. Another is that he sleeps briefly without recognizing it. And perhaps the truth is a combination of all three. But one thing is certain, Tai Nok's story is not simply about a man who does not sleep. It is a story about how little we truly understand about the human brain. Sleep is something almost every person experiences. We close our eyes. We disappear from the world for several hours. And then we wake up. But what if your brain never fully allowed you to do that? What if you could lie down, close your eyes, and still feel your thoughts racing? What if every night became a battle between your body wanting rest and your mind refusing to stop? For most people, that would be a nightmare. For Tai Nok, it became a way of life. And perhaps the saddest part is that he reportedly does not want to be famous for it. He does not want to be remembered as a superhuman. He wants to sleep, he wants his body to behave normally. He wants to experience something that billions of people do every night without even thinking about it. So, has Tai Nok truly been awake since 1962? The honest answer is, we cannot say with absolute certainty. There is no way to prove that a person has never slept for more than 6 decades simply by watching them for a few hours or even a few days. But his story has survived for years. His family has witnessed his unusual habits. Visitors have spent nights around him, and his life continues to raise one of the strangest questions imaginable. Can a human being really live without normal sleep? Maybe the answer is no. Maybe he sleeps in brief moments without knowing it. Maybe his body has found a way to rest that science does not completely understand. Or maybe the truth is even stranger than the legend. But as long as Tai Nok continues to wake through the night, while the rest of the world sleeps, mystery remains. Because somewhere in Vietnam, there may still be a man who looks at the darkness of midnight, not as the end of the day, as the beginning of another one. This is the story of Tai Nok, man who claims he hasn't slept since 1962. And the question is not only whether he truly never sleeps. The real question is, how much of the human body do we still not understand? This is Max Records, where the world's most unbelievable human stories become unforgettable.